Whatever happened to the abilities? Milkman, Paperboys, evening TV. And that's pretty much all I can remember. Okay, so Fuller House. Okay, let me just go back and let me tell you that I did watch the original Full House, not when it first aired, but when it was rerunning at the time. Like, I think it was rerunning in Nick at Night. At Nick at Night, it was rerunning in Nick at Night. So I pretty much watched Full House and I had a good time. And then when I heard about this new show coming out, and it was coming out not on TV but on Netflix, I was, a little skeptical, to be fair, because I don't know, it's just because, like, Full House was this fun little show from, I think, the 80s and 90s, that, the 80s through the 90s, or maybe it was just the 90s, but, like, it was this fun little show full of, like, very nice characters, and really there wasn't really that too much to it. It was just a nice, simple comedy that really didn't do much, but, I found it kind of fun. I still watched it, I even watched it till the season finale, when it was rerunning on Nick at Night. So I pretty much watched the entire series. I watched the entire show, and I really did enjoy myself in a way. I didn't think it was horrible. I didn't think it was, that bad to begin with. I just found it very decent. So then when I heard that there was going to be a resurrection show called Fuller House, which is not just a spin-off, but it's a literally continuation of the original show, but now it involves DJ, let's see, what was her sister's name? Okay, DJ and Stephanie and Kimmy Gibbler, her friend. Like, right now they're gonna be doing the same things like their dads did, John Stamos, Dave Coulier, and Bob Saget. They're going to be doing the same thing they did in the first show, where now they're older and now they have kids. Well, technically this is DJ Tanner's kids. Well, now she's called DJ Fuller. Yeah, pretty much brings the name Fuller House. So yeah, pretty much what do I think of Fuller House, after its premiere? I've watched every single episode so far, and it's pretty much the same as the original show. Pretty much kind of the same thing, only it kind of has that Disney teen sitcom kind of look to it. Like, it's not like the original show wasn't kind of a teen sitcom, but, it had other things besides. It was actually just a regular sitcom, because it not only dealt with DJ and Stephanie and their misadventures with Kimmy. No, it also involved, the Tanner household, the older guys, they were dealing the stuff in the show too. It was not only the kids, but like in this show, it kind of has that kind of, it's very colorful for one thing. They even decide to bring back the original set of the original show, which is very unique to me. I found that really good, because when shows try to come back, when something like from like a movie or a show try to bring something from the original show back, it usually is just a rebrand or even just something different. It's not even the original thing from the first time, but this is probably the first show I ever saw where they actually decide to bring the old set back, but try to, make it cleaner, make it more newer, and it's just so surprising to me. Like, barely has anything changed, except for maybe one or two things. I mean, for one thing, the couch is a little different compared to the original show, I think, and some of the layouts is a little different, but it's just so impressive. And they even got most of the cast back for the first episode, and even for some of the further episodes of the show. Like I said, I know that they did not bring Mary-Kate or Ashley Olsen to come back to the show, even though that, from what I've heard, one of them actually did want to come back, while the other one did not want to come back. One of them said that, she might, she feels, you know, she wants to come back, but then the other one's just like, nah, no thank you. Maybe it's just because they made so much money over the years that why would they come back to something they did a long time ago? I mean, I can understand that, but these are other actors who's done a lot of great things in the future, like a lot of great things in their careers. I think so. I'm not very sure, but it looks like they're pretty much having they've had a good run. I mean, maybe they've been in a few things, maybe they've been in a few good movies. Probably they've been in a good stuff before, so I'm guessing it's just because it's weird how they're reviving this, because I'm not sure. It's just that it's a little weird in a way, because was there really a big demand to bring back Full House? I don't think so. Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe there was like, I mean, I know that there's actually a big fan base for Full House. I didn't know about it, but it's just so strange in such a way that they bring the series back. Okay, so maybe I'm caught off guard. Let me go straight to what I think of the show. Like I said before, it's pretty much the same as the original show, though there are a couple of differences. For one, I feel that the jokes are better compared to the original show. Like, I'm not kidding. They are way better. I mean, I think this puts out to what Doug Walker said in his review of Full House, that he didn't laugh once when he was watching the show. I mean, to me, I remember in the original show that I wasn't really laughing much either. I was really focusing on the story, and you know, maybe I got 1 or 2 laughs at some point, but really, the show wasn't really that funny to begin with. But in Fuller House, like, there's some really good jokes in this. Like, I'm not kidding. Forget what the critics say, like, forget what they say, because there are actually a good amount of jokes in this show. I'm not even joking, and some of these jokes I find hard to believe are in this new show, because it's a continuation of Full House, and yeah, it's very shocking in a way, because now we remember these characters. We remember DJ, Stephanie, and Kimmy as these young teenagers or just little kids that, you know, we just, you know, oh, they were cool and stuff, and, you know, we never thought they'd do something like this. I mean, maybe there was one episode about smoking or just drinking or violence or anything, but, you know, it was just those little things that, you know, end up being fixed in the end. But this is where the first time we see those characters as adults. And when they're adults, it's very, very shocking for what they've done over the years. I mean, DJ's like her father. She's like Danny. But for one thing, she's definitely done a few things in her life. She's actually gotten more, like, tougher. I'm not even kidding. When she's taking care of her kids, she makes sure there's a big demand, a finger to that. And I just really like that there's like this kind of inner DJ that's really incredible to this. Also, Stephanie's changed a lot too. I mean, she was just this, you know, girl. She was just this little girl who just liked to dance, and I remember that she was really smart in the show too. And in this show, she seems to be dumbed down, like Dave Coulier's character Joey. Or mostly, I think, Jessie. She's kind of like the Jessie of the show now. She's now like more cool, more like this, but not in a way that's, you know, that's very forced. But she's in a way that she wasn't like before. I mean, she was very smart in the original show. I completely remember that. But then, like, now she's just this more kind of, I'm gonna hook up with 50 guys in one day, like, kind of person. Like, she likes to hook up a lot in the show. She wants to hook up with any guy she gets a chance at. She has, like, over 5 boyfriends from what I hear. Like, and I'm just like, this isn't the same Stephanie. Like, you know, what's going on? Like, and she drinks! And she even drinks. There's a few times where we see her, like, drinking. Like, I understand that's not shocking to people, but go watch the original show and see if this really connects to the same character. I can't even believe it myself. We see her drink, we see her not be parenting, and it's weird because I remember that she always had a responsibility, and she feels like she could do responsibility, but she had her problems, and she was very smart. I mean, she knew when a friend was in trouble or such, but in this show, she's like so lazy. She's like not gonna help out, but then, you know, there are some times where she tries to help out, and there's even some and for one thing, I didn't know that she was an incredibly amazing singer. I mean, her voice in this show, like her voice now is like incredible. Like she's probably like an amazing. Her voice is beautiful. Like it's like I couldn't believe it myself. And Kimmy Gibbler, she's, I mean, actually, I kind of like this Kimmy in a way. I mean, Kimmy in the original show was kind of like Jessie, like she was always this kind of chick who always got everyone in trouble. But, you know, I feel like her character's grown a little bit. I mean, she's now actually starting to become responsible. She even has a kid in the show. And, like, it's just so, like, wow, like, she's actually responsible. I mean, it's not like we haven't seen responsibility from her before, but this is the first time where she acts like a parent. Like, now she's a parent, and she just acts so responsibly, and this is, like, a step up from her character. And she's not very, like, kind of, oh, I'm gonna do this troublesome thing because, you know, I'm Kimmy Gibbler, you know, it's how I am. Like, you know, but of course she has her catchphrase and stuff, but, like, her character is completely different. Like, for one thing, she definitely, like, you know how she used to attract a lot of hot guys in the original show, but, like, now she actually was married to this hot guy, and she wants nothing to do with him. Nothing to do with him. Like, she wants a nicer, she wants a nicer person, a person that she can actually spend her time and actually feel like she's loved. And this guy, her husband, I forget his name, but, like, her husband is actually pretty entertaining, too. And remember when I said that they brought back everyone? I mean everyone. They even brought back, like, Steven. They even brought back Steven's character. The same guy. Yep, Aladdin himself actually came back to do this show. And he's not just for one episode. Oh no, he's a continuing character, just like when they did with the further seasons. I forget his name. I think his name is Scott Weiner or something, I think. But Scott Weiner, like, okay. And, of course, one thing I do have to say, there are a bit of cliches in the show. Like, even in the original had cliches. Like, there's this one point where DJ has to pick between Steve and some other guy that she met. Like, for some reason now she owns a pet business. Like, it's just... You're probably wondering, like, why am I so shocked on all this? It's just because this is a person who saw Full House, and when you compare this to Full House, it's the same thing, but there's just so many differences. Do I find it really one of the best shows? Like, no, I don't find it, but it's just surprising that there's these so many different things compared, even though it's kind of like the same show, but there's just these differences, like these big differences. They took a really big step up, even for the first episode. Yes, and I am very aware that a lot of people now put that meme ever since the point of the first episode. Like, that fourth wall joke in the first episode, oh my gosh, I think that's now become an official meme now, because... like, I understand why they did it. They did it because it was kind of mean, or even wondering why, like, either Mary-Kate or Ashley never bothered to return, and this is pretty much, like, if you don't... okay, I'm just pretty much going to tell you if you don't want to know, but... I don't think it's that important, but in a scene where they're talking about Michelle, they're literally, like, pointing, yeah, she's owning her huge business, and literally stare at the entire audience for, like, almost a minute, because it's pretty much their way of, like, yeah, we know you didn't want to be in our show because you're a bitch. Oh my gosh, I just couldn't believe they actually went that far. They went that far in this. They really went far. Like, I know it's a really stupid joke, but there's a lot of good jokes in this show, and you know what? It's probably, for another change that happens in the show is that it's a little longer than it really was. I mean, the original show was like 22 minutes. This is almost like an hour, like 45 minutes, or 30 to be, or 30. Like, this is longer than the original show, and you might be saying, oh, it's probably more painful just to knowing it's longer, but no, this show definitely, this continuation, this show is like, I feel is a little it's like way better than what it was back then, I feel. I know I'm like really surprised about this, but it's just such a big step up, like, from what it was before. Like, for one thing, they got rid of that damn corny theme, like that song that plays by the end of you know how in the end there's always this corny music. I mean, even I had issues with there was like this corny music that always played like in the end of the show, like, you know, Stephanie, you gotta, you know, JJ, you gotta feel this, you know, we're by your side. Like, oh, like, it bothered me even when I was watching the show. It kind of really, like, bothered me a little bit. But in this show, they got rid of it. Complete silence when they have to do an emotional moment. And you know what? There's not that much emotional moment in this show, but it still keeps the idea, still keeps a thing. Like, I also do like the new kids in the show. Like, I forget their names, but these new kids are actually pretty well, are really good. I like them in a way. Like, one of them's kind of like Kimmy. One of them's like, you know, pretty much just like Jesse. I think the little one is kind of like Danny, like the character Danny, I think. And of course, yes, there's a baby in the show, and guess what? The babies are twins, so it's like the same person, except they're just twins now. Just like, you know, when Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen were the twins, they were both Michelle. They're pretty much doing the same thing, but it feels refreshing at the same way. Like, I think anyone can go to this and just, you know, look at just this as a new thing, and may even not know what the original show was. They might be a little confused with the first episode, but throughout the entire show, I think they'll pretty much be fine, in my opinion. So yeah, I do actually like this show. I think it's fine. I don't think it's one of the greatest shows ever. Far from it. Not even close. But, like, I do think, in fairness, it's actually good. It's actually really good enough to just be its own thing now. Now it's a new continuation. I can't wait till the next I can't, like, wait for the next season, because it's really, I find it actually pretty good. Yeah. Black Belt Dragons signing out, and I'll see you on my next video.